Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway-World. The famed Paper Mill Playhouse in Millburn, New Jersey kicks off their fall season with the Broadway-Bound revival of the classic Cole Porter musical Can-Can. Directed by David Lee, it stars Kate Baldwin and Jason Danieley. We drop by the rehearsal room to meet the company, bring you a sneak peek, and I have an interview with the star of the original 1952 production, Lilo.
Sorry, if you want to see more, you'll have to buy a ticket.
This was so exciting for us. I mean, you saw me sitting out there. What was it like for you gentlemen to open the rehearsal room and have an audience today?
It's really something to see this come alive with an audience. You see them doing it in front of the mirror, and then you see them doing it with people responding. It's really electric.
Yeah, you're finally reminded of why you're doing it. After sitting in for a couple of weeks, just correcting mistakes and being the tough dad, and all of a sudden you go, okay, show them. And
well, it's like all of a sudden your baby plays beautifully. It's like, oh my God, this is really great, right? Because they're just doing it for you mostly.
Right. Our baby is very good.
Oh, your baby is great. Take me back to the beginning. I mean, this has been a long journey for you with Can-Can, both of you, right?
Right. Right after 9/11, I suffered some personal losses besides the losses we all suffered, and I was looking for something to sort of cheer me up. And I had always loved Can-Can and always suspected that maybe there might be something to be done with it. And so I called Joel up and said, wouldn't it be fun just for the joy of it? What do you do for the joy of it anymore? To do this. And he went, I'll do it for the joy of it. So we had 13 years of joy to get to this point.
Paris, why, oh why do I love Paris? Because my love, because my
This was so exciting for me. What was it like for you opening the rehearsal room and letting us see these numbers?
Oh, completely nerve-wracking. You're the first audience we've had, and we've only had ourselves to make laugh and ourselves to make clap, and so seeing the delight on everybody's face was really a relief and exciting, and is hopefully an omen of good things to come. Yeah.
Tell me why you wanted to do this. This is one of my all-time favorite musicals. How this came about for you and this role?
Yeah, I got approached about coming in and singing for the role, I think probably back in February or March, and I listened to Lilo. I listened to the original recording and fell in love with the songs, and fell in love with her quality, her chanteuse, French flavored, guttural. Guttural is such an ugly word because it's such a pretty sound, full-throated kind of sound. And I thought, I wonder if I can do that. And I went down into my basement while my 3-year-old was sleeping upstairs and went, and tried to figure it out. And I could do it. And I thought, oh, this is a really great. This role feels like a transition for me. It feels like a transition to leading a lady, who maybe has a bit of a history, who isn't a goody two-shoes, as we've seen from Kate Baldwin before.
And this score, what a gorgeous score. I mean, I Love Paris. Talk about the songs you get to sing.
Well, they're deceptive because I always think of Cole Porter as the clever, witty lyricist, and he certainly is. But then he can write a melody that just tugs at your heart. And songs like I Love Paris and C'est Magnifique. And we also added a song called Who Said Gay Paris, which was not, I think, in the original, but is a beautiful Cole Porter song that everybody who hears it goes, oh my gosh, that's Cole Porter, I love it.
But then you have those beautiful character comedy songs like Every Man is a Stupid Man.
Which we use very differently in our production.
Do you? Tell me.
I don't know. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a it has a sort of inside joke tenderness about it, rather than it being a baughty rabble-rouser kind of song.
Oh, I love that, because there's a whole new book for this production.
It's 90% rewritten from the original, and it's really fresh and funny. And so when I read it and I laughed out loud, I thought, I would really like to try this.
Why does my hand keep doing that?
You really have it bad for him, don't you?
What am I going to do?
Well, when I have a problem that confounds my heart and seems utterly insoluble, I always follow one simple rule. I change the subject.
So here we are. How exciting was today for you?
It was a thrill. You know, we've been in rehearsals just brimming with delight, and the opportunity to share this with people who haven't seen it before is thrilling. We really can't wait to get it all on stage. The design elements are incredible. We haven't even added those yet. I don't think I've ever been in a more highly anticipated production. It's so exciting.
This show lives in your bones. The comedy, the Abe Burrows book, the new book. I mean, talk about the role, what you love about him so far.
Well, I play Jean-Louis. I mean, what I love about him is that while people are flipping and dancing and twirling and singing their guts out, I just get to stand there and be sarcastic, and it's an easy job. But I love Jean-Louis because he just doesn't get ruffled, and he's always just the driest one in the room, and I don't know, I just love him. I love him. He's a great part.
And working here at Paper Mill again.
Paper Mill has become sort of my favorite place to go. I played Thénardier in the tour of Les Mis, which started at Paper Mill, and that was glorious, of course, and went back to do the most hilarious production of Lend Me a Tenor ever. And in fact, Mark Price, who's in our cast, was in that. I always say that the guys who run Paper Mill, they're not just businessmen, they also love theater. They deeply love theater, and they get theater, and they know what makes it great. And their enthusiasm and their support for this production has been immeasurable.
Now, I know this is sort of new. It's only been like a little over 2 weeks worth of rehearsal. What has the biggest thrill been for you so far with working on Can Can?
You've asked me a very hard question. The reason I'm stumbling is because every day there's been some new thrill. The orchestration's by Steve Orich. The costume designs by Anne Holt-Ward. I mean, every day there's, honestly, I can't pick one thing that's the best thing about it, because every day there's something exciting.
You can laugh when you please. You can laugh when you please. You can weep when you please. You can laze when you please. Or be spry when you please. You can do everything but lie. You can wash when you please. You can shave when you please. Be discreet when you please. Misbehave when you please. You can flirt when you please. Take a chance when you please. You can put on and take off your pants when you please. Yes!
I love these. Did you grew everything?
No, they're huge. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I usually wear a Van Dyke, you know, but yeah, I had a big mustache for The Visit, and now Anne Holt-Ward, who is costuming us for Can Can, costumed me for Secondhand Lions last year, and also The Visit. So she just keeps changing hairstyles. I'm like, as long as I keep working, I don't care what I have on my face.
So what does the missus think of this, the new look you come home with every few months?
She loves it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. She's not quite sure about the mustache wax, because I have to keep twisting it. I didn't know there was so much work involved. Yeah.
I love it. Welcome to Can Can.
Thank you.
Great role so far. Tell me about him.
Yeah, Aristide Forestier.
It's a mouthful, that name.
It is, but it's sort of like liquid. It feels very rich, which I love. I think he can be a typical. He's a judge, and he's supposed to be the conflict. He's the judge who comes in and says, "You can't dance the can. It's against the law." But we're having so much fun with the script. You know, you have to really. David Lee and Joel Fields really wanted to establish the relationship that Pistache and Aristide had when they were kids in the south of France, and she leaves to come to Paris to make her fame, and he kind of comes up a few years later, you know, maybe looking for her. We're not sure, but so the chemistry is fantastic. Working with Kate, she's incredible.
And this is such a classic musical. I mean, talk about the beautiful score and just the comedy in this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that was one of the definite things that they wanted to do with the script, was to keep it true to what Abe Burrows originally wrote. So the structure is exactly the way Abe did it, but they just updated the text. And it's clearly from like the 1950s, unabashed musical comedy, and it is. The score is exquisite, and I think very few people, except for maybe yourself, who know Can inside and out. And there are gems. I Am in Love, which I get to sing, I didn't know, and it's this glorious love song. I think there are going to be gems for people. And then the comedy. David Lee was one of the creators of Frasier, so his hand with that sophisticated urbane humor, I think, perfectly matches Cole's lyrics beautifully.
It's operation lighting.
They need a coffee
To
stack.
make me look alive.
You guys are like the Three Stooges. That's what Jason said. He said, I love doing that number with you guys. They are the perfect Three Stooges.
Yeah.
All right, did you know each other before this? Have you worked together before?
We were friends from childhood.
That's right.
No.
We all worked together for the very first time doing the workshop last July.
Yeah. So we've stuck together since then.
It's true. There's some onstage chemistry that's lasted.
That's
since
right.
then.
It's in our writers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, talk about playing these roles. This is pure comedy from the Abe Burrows School. I mean, what this has been like working on these guys and figuring them out together.
Greg?
It's a high-end theater question.
Yes. Yeah. Well, something that's so lovely about the kind of atmosphere that David and the rest of the creatives have made is that it's so free. And you know, he said on the very first day, he said everybody talks, and it's the perfect sentiment for comedy, especially when you've hired like such theater monsters as we have in this room.
You three.
Yes. Well, not
right.
I mean, everybody else as well, but mostly us. Yeah. But there is something about that freedom in the room that just manifests pure joy. It can't live without
a lot of laughs in the room. I mean, it's been just so much fun to play with just people and just bounce stuff off each other, and a lot of fun.
Especially what we do in the show. I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like if it was, serioso. That would be absolute torture with a piece like this.
Yeah,
so
with this particular piece, it's like you have a license to laugh at silly things. You know, the comedy is smart, but it's also really silly and just fun.
And all of our comedy is based in truth. It's almost Chekhovian, what we do.
It's very serious. It's very serious work.
Very serious work.
Yes.
Can, the play.
Yes,
right.
yeah.
Exclamation point.
Yeah, but you have David Lee, the master of comedy, Joel, the same thing, and then you have Patti Colombo's incredible choreography, the number we saw today. I mean, you guys are perfect in that. How long did it take you to work on that?
2 hours, and we had it.
This morning.
Yeah, we just threw that together this morning.
20 minutes.
That's right.
Stitched it together.
That was
one
actually
of the things. I mean, you see what she does with dancers, and I mean, she has such a reputation for just incredible, high-flying physical choreography. But she also works so well with character movers, character dancers like ourselves.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, he's on point.
He was with the Kirov Ballet.
That's right.
For
15
years.
Yeah.
15?
Yeah, I
16?
left 16.
You
You're
defected.
Right. That's
Yes.
right. I left.
You guys have just started rehearsals, 2.5 weeks ago?
Yeah.
All right, so what's been the biggest thrill, seriously, so far with working on this new production of Can?
I gotta say, just everyone involved is just incredible. It's amazing to see everyone work in the room, and as we were saying before, how they work so well together with everyone, and also seeing Patti's work and David's work has just been an incredible thrill. I mean, that Can number alone is not for the faint of heart.
This was so great. What was today like for you, having an audience in the room today?
It was very telling. It was very helpful. You know, when you rehearse things over and over again, like, I thought this was supposed to be funny, and they're not laughing anymore because they've heard it 100 times, you know. And also just to have that energy, have another energy in the room to help boost us, to get us through, because that number is a marathon. Yeah.
That was great for us. I mean, what a great role. I spoke to Gwen Verdon many times about doing Can-Can. I mean, what is it like playing her so far, this role?
Playing Claudine? I'm still figuring it out. To be completely honest with you, I'm still figuring her out. She's a little tricky because she's kind of the ingenue, but she's funny, and she loves her boyfriend, but at the same time is trying to find her independence from him. So I'm still trying to figure out how to maneuver through all that. So once we start running the show, I feel like I'm going to find her arc a little bit more. But it's so lovely and so fun, and I love the challenge. I'm really, really excited about it.
The dancing is incredible. Talk about Patti's choreography.
It's super athletic, which I love, as you know. I love anything that is actor-driven. I love telling a story. It helps you get through it. It helps you, you're in your brain the whole time, portraying the thoughts of the character to the audience with your movement, and it just makes it so much simpler and cleaner and fun and enjoyable. And after that giant number that you just saw, I have the pleasure of doing an incredible tango with Michael Burrows that is to die for. It's delicious, and he is incredible. I'm sorry that he wasn't here for you to see him dance, but oh my God, you guys are gonna love it. It's so good.
I love your work. I love this show. How excited were you two today, opening the rehearsal room and having an audience there today?
It was thrilling. I mean, it's always, you know, you never know. I mean, you never really know until you have an audience. You don't, and I never am like, oh, this is going to be a slam dunk, ever, to the point where I never even sit in opening night. I can't. It was thrilling and fun, really great, I think, for the cast too, to hear people instead of when we're working, we're all just working. So it was thrilling.
And for you today?
Oh my God, well, I was just so proud of the cast. I mean, they pulled it off. I mean, they're feeling a little broken right now and achy and sore, and they've been killing themselves, and to hear that applause today, I think was medicine for them. You know, they're probably going home and going, yeah, I feel good today. Yeah, no, it was
They
great.
actually came up and said, oh my God, because they're, especially with what we do with dancers and actors, everybody is a perfectionist. Anybody that goes in this business, is crazy and a perfectionist. And no matter if you feel it, you do feel it. I feel it when I think there's something there. But especially for those kids, like John's saying, it's a very athletic show. And we've had literally 2 weeks of, you just saw one of the dances. There's a quadrille, there's 2 tangos, there's a posh, there's a novelty number. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Well, talk about you two working together. I mean, how do you break it down of who does what? There's so much dancing in this show. It's amazing.
Oh my, it's called Act and React. She'll do something, I'll do something. She'll do something, I'll do something. And we'll put our orange rehearsal skirts on and go insane in a room. And it just comes out. I mean, we did this together 7 years ago in Pasadena. So we brought it back.
It also helps, I think, tremendously, and I say this for John, to be so comfortable with somebody. We've known each other. He's like my brother, and a brother is one thing, but a really talented brother, you know. And we finish each other's sentences, vocabulary and dancing too, and we'll edit each other too. I mean, it's a real camaraderie, and it's hard as a writer, a choreographer, director, especially choreographer writers, to go in and stare at yourself in the mirror with a blank page. You know that they say about writers or choreographers too. Mm-hmm. You stare at each other, then you go to the refrigerator because you have no. You know what I mean? Yeah. But what's great, because of our history, we don't offend each other because we're just like yin and yang.
Yeah.
And it's a real source of comfort to me and support, and we just work together, and we have the same senses of humor, and we both believe very strongly in telling stories for dancing, not just for dance sake. Like can-can is can-can is can-can. That's why we reinvented a lot with Steve Orich, our arranger and stuff.
What I love about what you've done is all your dancing is character driven. I knew who every girl was in that line, and they were all different.
Yeah,
so I wanted to tell you that.
You know what? When we cast this, the callbacks was like an embarrassment of wealth. I mean, these incredible Broadway, New York dancers. But I kept saying, I do not want a faceless ensemble. I want actors. I look for dancers who act, that really dance. But it's so great. I said, we both said, I feel nobody's going to come to the show and go, who is that girl?
Yeah.
Or who is that boy?
No.
You know?
You know all their stories, just from what I saw in there today. So I wanted to tell you that. How exciting was today for you, Lilo?
Very exciting, really. And I watched a rendition of Can-Can that was different from Michael Kidd, and it was still extraordinarily nice and enthusiastic.
So take me back. What are your memories of doing the original? Talk about working with Cole Porter, Abe Burrows. What do you remember?
I remember not speaking a word of English. I remember speaking high school German, and Abe Burrows was speaking Yiddish to me. Cole Porter never had a problem because he spoke French, so I never had a problem. He never mixes either with librettos or anything like this. He only cares about his lyrics and his music, so it was fine. And I remember the opening night the most. At the stage door where New York police on horseback with white gloves on and taking Cole Porter and myself just across the street to Sardi's. I was mighty impressed.
And playing this role, what you remember, this is such a beautiful score, and taking on this role, what it meant to you.
Oh, I loved the score. I love Cole Porter. Actually, it's because of his name that I came over. Because the rest, I didn't know anything about anybody in this country or anything like this. And when they mentioned Cole Porter, it rang a bell because the Begin just came over to Europe in those days. And I said, wow, that's what I want to say.